We'll get some brief remarks from Georgia's head coach, Kirby Smart, first. Go ahead, Coach.
I'd like to thank the Orange Bowl committee and the group that's been with us, hosted us. Capital One Orange Bowl, they've done a tremendous job, and our players have thoroughly enjoyed the weather and the stay, and excited about moving on to this game. It's been a tremendous honor to represent University of Georgia. Certainly got so many people down in the Miami area to thank, and just a wonderful host to our team. And we appreciate that. Our guys are excited. Got a lot of respect for Coach Harbaugh and his team. They've always played a physical brand of football, and our guys are looking forward to that opportunity to go out and play. And it's really what you work all year for, is to get in this opportunity. It's a grand stage, and I know our guys are excited for this opportunity.
So first question this morning will be from Ralph Russo. Go ahead, Ralph.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'll direct this question to Kirby. I think back to 2017, and your team was a little bit more of a still developing. The program was still more developing, and I'm wondering if a season like this, where the expectations, not just externally but internally, are so high, as much as you've had so much success, is it still hard to enjoy it?
It's never hard to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you're in the wrong profession. I enjoy the relationships with the players, block out the outside noise, day to day, going to practice, recruiting, being around our guys. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy the smiles on the faces when they make a big play, when they give up a play and they've got to fight through it. The joy is in the relationships and the coaching staff and the organization. It's not in the expectations. Certainly, that's part of what comes with being at the University of Georgia, but that's not what I concern myself with. I concern myself with guys having fun, competing at a high level. And when you do those things right, you coach guys, tough. They have a chance to be successful. And we've had a chance to be successful every year. We're certainly happy and honored to be in the college football playoff, but I don't look at the other seasons as failures either. So I get the joy out of relationships with guys.
Next question comes from Mark Weiser. Go ahead, Mark.
Good morning. Both of you played at schools that you are now coaching in the playoff. Given that, what does it mean to you personally to have your school in the semifinals with a chance still to win a national title? And also, I know you shared the same birthday last week. Did you get any presents that stood out?
I like that thought. The old doubled up was definitely the case. It's much easier to give one than two. Hey, I'm just going to let this be your Christmas and your birthday gift. Certainly think I got a lot of that. But it makes it easier. I agree with that. I didn't think of it in the way Jim did in terms of not having to count the year. If that's the case, then I'm probably 40, not 46. That helps with just I do like the fact that it comes in a time in a coach's life that you're usually off. I mean, we've traditionally taken off somewhere either the 22nd or 23rd, somewhere around Christmas. Seems like all the years I was at Alabama and other places I've been, you took the bowl time a couple of days right there. So for my wife, it's been convenient because she's had me around on the birthday, but not like we did a whole lot. I can't speak to any gifts. I didn't get a whole lot. Maybe this time and that might be it, but not a whole lot that I'm asking my kids for right now.
Our next question comes from Mike Griffith. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, coaches, both of you guys are known for the whole power football. Everybody says they're physical. Everybody says they play power football, but we've seen Michigan and Georgia take it to another level in terms of the commitment. I guess I'd ask you, Coach Harbaugh, just about that strategy that Michigan's had over the years and the payoff in the day and age when it seems like offensive football and fireworks is the new way to go.
Yeah, I mean, to me, being physical is part of the sport. If you're not going to be physical, you're probably going to struggle. That starts with a line of scrimmage. There comes a point in almost every game where you have to be able to run the ball, whether that's 4-minute into game stuff or that's short yardage. I mean, there has to be a commitment to moving people and putting your hat on people. And nowadays it's probably done a lot more on the perimeter in terms of, there's hats on the perimeter now more than ever. and every play has, multiple plays to it. And you're playing, a defensive line block technique. You're playing it out on the perimeter. You're blocking somebody at receiver more now than you've ever, because there's a perimeter screen attached to every play. And I think that's made the premium on being physical more. I certainly understand that the game is played outside the box more than ever, but at the end of the day, when it gets cold or it gets the end of the year, wherever you're playing, you better be able to run the ball.
And next question comes from Dan Matthews. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Excuse me. Kirby, Coach Lanning the other day alluded to him being the one calling the plays on tomorrow night. Had you talked with him about going through that experience of having to balance both the job that you have right now and also the job that you have in the future?
Yeah, we spoke. We spoke when he took the Oregon job, and spoke at it at length. It was quite some time now, quite some time ago now. But that's not a major concern for me. I mean, it's something that I did as a coach, and many coaches have done, and we talked about it. It's there's not a 24/7 continuum on being just the coordinator. There's guys that have other things on their mind. And he delegates his time. I trust Dan. He's done a tremendous job here. Number one, he's a great recruiter. He's loyal to Georgia. He's loyal to these players he recruited. He knows for his sake and Oregon's program's sake, he wants to play well. And he's as invested in this process as everybody is. So that's not it's not a major concern for me, having him call the defenses and being the head coach at Oregon. I've seen it done many times, and very confident that he's given us every effort he has. He's got a great staff with him, along with Coach Schumann and Coach Muschamp and myself. All have eyes over there. So it's not like he's alone, and he hasn't been alone all year.
The next question is from Mark Stallworth. Go ahead, Mark.
How you doing, Coach? I have a question for Coach Smart and Coach Harbaugh. First, Coach Smart. Todd Monken, he spoke earlier on this week on James Cook, but could you expound on his leadership and what he has meant to the team and your assessment of him during his 4 years at the program? And Coach Harbaugh, this is your third trip to the Orange Bowl in your coaching career, and second with the University of Michigan, but your first time in the college playoffs. What will it take for you to duplicate your success that you did back in 2011 when you win your first Orange Bowl as coach?
James has been a tremendous asset to our program. First of all, James is like a South Florida kid that's really tough, that loves the game of football. I mean, he wants to go out and play tackle every day. That's just who James is. He's like, let's go hit today. Let's go play tackle football, coach. He just grew up down here. He loves the game, wants to play well at home. His brother played in this game, Dalvin, and it means a lot to him to get to play down here. And he's been a great leader for us, because he speaks, people listen. He doesn't speak very often, but when he gets up in front of the team, people know it comes from the heart. And the way he practices and the way he plays, they respect him. So sometimes less is more, and with James, that certainly is the case.
Hey, Kirby, just want to see what's the plan today. Is it just a light walkthrough, picture day, meetings tonight, pretty much off the grid? And do you think there's just too much downtime, kind of let's get after this like 3 days ago kind of thing?
I mean, we've got our routine we go through, and we'll keep that routine the same, basically as if we're going to play a road game today, change over some things mentally, get ourselves in a place of we hadn't been here for 4 or 5 days, and put yourself in a mental position of just arriving and getting ready for a road game, to keep that routine the same. We've got a walkthrough that we do on Fridays, before games. So we'll simulate that same setup and have our meetings and meals throughout the day, and do it just like we would a road game.
Next question comes from Ryan Zook. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, Coach Smart, I know you've talked several times about how saying it's unrealistic to say that guys are going to, jump into playing time spots that are younger over just bowl practices. And I'm not saying that, but have there been any guys that have just impressed you in general, maybe the younger guys through the bowl practices? Not saying it's going to lead into playing time, but just impressed you in the bowl practices.
Yeah, we've had some really quality, especially early on, getting after it and letting guys scrimmage and go play. And, you know, so many of these young guys are coming off COVID high school careers where they got shortened seasons. They didn't get spring practices. They were unable to have a spring here. So there's been some guys that have done some good things. I thought that Micah Morris has really stepped up and played really well in the offensive line, both guard and tackle. And Dylan Fairchild's played well, played really physical. Both those guys are going to be, you know, high quality, really good football players. Seen a lot of promise out of Smile and Pop at linebacker. I mean, those are guys that we're counting on for the future, and they've gotten a lot better. And then, you know, the young DBs got a lot of reps in the last 2 weeks. They've gotten a lot of work all year, mostly as twos, but they've gotten a lot of work here in the last couple of weeks of scrimmage and did some things. So there's been a good group of guys that have gotten quality work. A couple of our walk-ons that we got last year have made plays and done some things that are going to help us. So we go back and go to the core fundamentals and go back through special teams and try to teach and develop these guys because so many of them, they want to play at the next level. And part of the special teams aspect is big, and try to go back and really compete and have fun. And those guys have done a great job of that.
Your next question is from Vance Levy. Go ahead, Vance.
Yeah, this question is for both coaches. Congratulations to both of you for making it to the semis. You're both obviously perfectionists that demand a certain level. Are y'all able to take it in yourselves and really relish in what you've accomplished? And then secondly, do you think college football is ready for a CEO or a czar or someone to help, you know, be more unified in decision makings, et cetera?
It's an awesome opportunity, you know, been able to be a part of a lot of big games like this on the CFP stage and then back in the BCS stage, and just watching the guys play. It's memories for a lifetime. As a coach, you know, you hope to be back. As a coach, you've been here before, but it's the players that it's really about. I mean, it's about these guys enjoying it and going out and competing and making memories of a lifetime. And just thankful for the opportunity that college football gives us. And as far as a central person, I think that's great in theory. Maybe it's not as simple as that for the world of college football to have somebody, because you're representing a lot of interest from all across different conferences. But I think in theory it would certainly be beneficial.
The next question is from Jake Roos. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, this is for both of you. You know, I feel like there's a lot of comparisons made amongst fans, the media, that you guys share some similarities, personality-wise, program-wise. You know, do you see a little bit of yourself reflected in each other and in each other's programs? And, you know, what would be some of the main differences you might notice as well?
I think that's hard to answer because I don't know if I know Jim well enough for that. I have seen him throughout the years compete and go to camps and work out with kids. I remember in Alabama when he played a little football down in Prattville, took his shirt off. I could never do that. He can get away with that a lot better than I can. So I have to keep my shirt on. But he's a lot of energy. And I know the recruiting events I've been to in the camps, he certainly coaches with a passion and style that I certainly admire and respect.
Yeah, that was shirts and skins. You know, it's like I wasn't trying to take my shirt off to like show off or anything. Certainly not a lot to show off, but it was an old fashioned shirts and skins game. But probably, you know, just a lot of similarities. You know, both football coaches doing what we love. You know, I can tell, listen to the coach, you know, talk about his team. You know, feels that's the way I feel. You know, you're in it for these relationships and these long and trusting friendships, and you know, trying to get good at football. So I see those similarities, and I've been to those camps too. And Kirby was right down in there, you know, right down in there, running the drills as well. So let's yeah, probably a lot more similarities than differences.
And next question from Ralph Russo. Go ahead, Ralph.
Sorry, guys, I didn't have my hand up, but I'll take a pop at a question here for both of you, and that is when you come into a game like this with different it kind of alludes back to my first question to Kirby. When you come into a season like this with a little different dynamic, is the ride to get to the top sometimes a little more, I don't know if enjoyable is the right word, or there is some different meaning in the ride to get to the top as opposed to when you have already reached the top? Is there a different dynamic to a season when you feel like, you know, you're sort of building to something as opposed to you've already accomplished it?
Yeah, I've enjoyed the ride. I enjoy the ride every year. So I feel like at Michigan and Georgia, you're never not the target. Like if you go through the year and say, well, you know, we're ascending this year and we're climbing and this and that. Look, it doesn't matter who we play. Both teams, we have a lot of rivals. We're very unique in that everybody's your rival in your conference when you go to play, and you're, you know, one of the top programs in the country, premier programs in the country. You get everybody's best shot. It's not about their shot. It's really about your shot. And my job is to make sure we give our best shot to everybody we play. I'm not interested in, you know, the climb and the rise, and what I'm interested in is being at our best when our best is required. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do every single game. How do we get it better? The process and the ride that you go through along the way, the bumps and the bruises, the injuries, the players in, the players out, all those pains are part of the ride and part of the process that you try to enjoy.
All right, next question from Jeff Schultz. Go ahead.
Kirby, you've obviously had to come back from losses, as every coach have. What's the biggest thing you've learned in bringing a team back from a loss, whether it's through trial or error, or maybe something you've observed from a coach that you worked for?
Biggest thing is be technical about the process. Nobody wanted to win that game more than those kids and the coaches. The amount of time invested, the amount of work and sweat invested into it. Certainly the desires and the want to is always there, but be technical on things we can improve. Don't be judgmental. Don't say things, if you do this and if you do that, you're going to get your butt beat. You know, you're very technical about it. What can we do better from everything? And that's the way we approach anytime we have a loss. As a matter of fact, we approach every win that way too. And believe it or not, you know, there's a lot of games we won this year that we didn't play well, and people find that hard to believe, but there's so many technical things you can correct, and we try to do that. So we don't approach it different with a loss, no matter what kind of loss that is, whether it's close, distance, what the reason is. Be technical about it. Really try to improve in the areas that you a lot of times that's the most improvement you can make, and they seem to listen a little more after a loss, and that's certainly the way we approach this last one.
All right, we've got a little less than 5 minutes left here, so time for a couple more questions. Next one's from Mike Griffith. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, coaches on both your alma mater. How is it different coaching there than other places, if it is? And obviously, you both have had high-profile jobs in other places. Clearly, there's some advantages. Are there disadvantages, and how is it different?
Biggest difference to me is the tie-in of the amount of your time. I know since arriving in Athens, you know, there's a tremendous amount of support and encouragement, but you being a former player and alumnus, you know, there's an expectation of time of the people you had relationships with, the people you played with. It now transcends when I was here to before I was here to when I left. You know, everybody wants some part of that time. I never felt like at other jobs that I owed that. You know, it was like I could go do my job and really work hard on the football piece because you weren't tied into so many other commitments. Now, I also was not the head coach, but I think the biggest difference is you feel an emotional tie, you feel a gratitude, you're able to sell that in recruiting, but the hardest part is just the time commitment to so many that have an expectation of it.